and let us all do we can to build a better future.
All right, people. I know that there's war, madness, despair, insanity, economic instability, people at each other's throats, and it's part of the news. It's why we do this show. It's what we do, and a lot of independent media is covering it. But I think it's only fair that we bring in some kind of light, some kind of humor, some kind of joy before humanity either ices itself off or, hey, guess what? AI takes over, does the job, rules over us. Who knows what happens? But all of us deserve a laugh, and I have to address this. Cenk, buddy, listen. For a long time, there was once a time where I guess TYT was the home of the progressive community. There was that short while time. It did exist. Now, I don't know what you're thinking or what really happened to you after 2016 when you got that Katzenberg cash. And slowly but surely, people were no longer buying into this whole idea of somehow reforming the Democratic Party or holding Democratic leadership's feet to the fire, because it was never going to happen. Anytime that there was an attempt to really do something good, you were the first one to put your body in the way, Fat Tony, Cenk, and stop it. Never forget that you played a very pivotal role in helping stop forced to vote, which has now been proven correct numerous times. Now that forced to vote was correct, and Cenk, you stopped it. And here's the thing. I think you're due for a meltdown, or either that this is the beginning signs of a meltdown, because you really went through with it. You actually pushed the button. You sociopath, you crazy man, and anyone giving money to his presidential campaign, because that's right, you heard me, Cenk Uygur has officially announced on social media, on Twitter, and you just can't say this is a prank, bro, because like whatever remains of, I guess, respect you once had has now evaporated, because Cenk has now said that he is running against Joe Biden for the Democratic nomination. Buddy, lovely, darling, what are you doing? Cenk, you got decimated in your congressional run, not once but twice. You barely got above 3%. You failed. And now you're saying you're running against Joe Biden in the Democratic primary. The game is rigged. If you had any integrity left in your soul, I think you should take like a month off. Go on a break. Whatever. Because let's just look at this right here. We have to look at this. And if you give money to this, you're being scammed. Cenk cannot run for president. He's not a natural-born citizen of the United States. And not to mention, Cenk, what makes you think you're going to win the Democratic primary? Who's going to respect you? Who in their right mind? Are you trying to signal to Katzenberg that you need more money? Yes, I'm running against Joe Biden for the Democratic nomination. Joe Biden is down 24 points on the economy. He has no ability to make up that kind of ground on the most important issue. We need a new candidate now. It's not you, Cenk. And yes, the website is real. Cenk for America. This is an unimpressive website, by the way. All right. The most important election of our... Say the line, Bart. The most important election of our lifetimes. We need a new candidate. Biden is 13 points lower than when he barely beat Trump in the Electoral College. Biden is 24 points behind Trump on the economy. Oh, God, this is so pathetic. Biden is currently trailing Trump when he has to win the popular vote by 5 points to win the Electoral College. Policy. Okay, here, look, time off for mother's paid leave. Okay, whatever. Higher wages. What? Listen, the Democrats thumbed that down in 2021, Cenk. Affordable health insurance, public option. What, not Medicare for all? No force to vote, Cenk? Fight corruption and gerrymandering. Oh, God. Press inquiry. Hey, let's have democracy in the chat. Should I interview Cenk Uygur here on Hard Lens Media? Type 1 for yes, Kit. We need to hear a voice on how we could change the Democratic Party. Type 2, no, man, don't waste our time. Or you know what? Type 3, do it. It'll be funny. Do it. It'll be funny. And hey, you could donate. Oh, God. What? How many people? Who's being stupid with their wallet? Who's being stupid with their goddamn wallet? 2,090 donations. Who's being? I didn't even know this part. I'm actually this. Hey, look. Sometimes, folks, there are some things that I don't review. Right? I didn't know that this happened. Why are people being dumb with their wallets? Who? Oh God. If you gave money to this, this is you're being scammed. You're being flim-flommed. So I want to pull up this video here. It's from TYT. Now, the person you're going to see, this is the face of somebody who realizes that their business partner and colleague has gone off on the deep end. And for a point, I did feel sorry for Anna, but then I realized what she was trying to do to Jimmy Dore and force a vote and really smearing and slandering progressives and independent voices. So I don't feel sorry for her. But seriously, this face is priceless right here. I mean, look at that face. This is like, oh God, get me out of here. She's going to interview Cenk. She's going to interview Cenk. Christ in heaven. Folks, grab yourselves some popcorn because this is kind of funny. We are witnessing not only Anna realizing that she's on a sinking ship, but also we're seeing a guy in the beginning stages of having a full-blown meltdown. Jimmy, if you're watching this show by any chance right now, you were right, man. You called it. 2 years ago, you called it. This guy's due for a meltdown. It's going to be epic. You called it out, Jimmy.
Welcome back to TYT. We're interviewing Cenk Uygur, who's just announced that he is running for president and challenging President Joe Biden in the primary. So, Cenk, the big issue.
Sorry, I just gotta rewind that face again. It's just like she's like, I can't believe I gotta humor this. All right, I'll stop. I'll play the video in its entirety. I will pause at maybe one point here or there, but let's play it.
Challenging President Joe Biden in the primary. So, Cenk, the big issue, the big obstacle kind of standing in your way is the fact that you were born in Turkey, you immigrated to the United States at 8 years old, you were a naturalized citizen, but my understanding is that only US-born citizens can run for president. You disagree with that, why?
Yeah, the case law is completely on my side.
No, it's not. 33 seconds and I'll continue on. But there's certain qualifications that you have to meet up. First, let's witness Cenk do the mental gymnastics on trying to go around the fact that he is not a natural born citizen. Okay, you got to be born in the US of A. Okay, that's the rule. I didn't make it, but that's the rule. So don't get angry at me, Fat Tony. I mean Cenk, or anybody else who wants to defend Cenk. It's the law of the land. You cannot break the law of the land. That's how it is. Not to mention you're running in the Democratic primary. Buddy, listen, maybe you're eating too many marshmallows and it's stopping your cognitive ability or critical thinking or whatever. Something's happening to you, buddy. Have you forgotten what they did to Bernie? Have you forgotten what they did to Bernie in 2016 and 2020? Seriously.
So this conventional wisdom, we've all heard it. We heard it in 8th grade civics class and it's stuck in our heads. It was an easy thing to remember, right? Oh, if you're not born here. And by the way, there's 25 million Americans who are naturalized citizens. And every one of us has heard about 200 times in our lives, ha, you can't run for president. Now, look, guys, the people who say that, they just remember it from school. They don't mean any harm by it, right? But for those of us who hear it, what we're hearing is you're not really fully American. We don't trust you. You're from a different country. Mm-hmm. And so the reason that the founding fathers put that in the first place was because at the time they were worried about royal princes that come into the bloodline and will find a way to snake control away to a foreign government. That stuff's not at all relevant anymore. And it's obviously not fair. It's super not fair. There's Ted Lieu, who's in Congress now and who's a colonel in the Air Force. What is he not? He's loyal to Taiwan because he came when he was 3. It's absurd. But none of that matters. The only thing that matters is the case law. and the Supreme Court has already ruled in Schneider v. Rusk. I asked you guys if you would do graphics. Do you have those graphics or no?
We do. Yeah, let's
Yeah.
Okay, I could hear Anna's bated breath. Like, yeah, we do. It's probably a good thing that the camera's not on Anna, because she's probably eye rolling right now. It looks like being possessed by the Exorcist or something. Probably, maybe, or either that she's really weighing in her options mentally inside her head. Like, oh God, I gotta deal with this clown show. Because let's face it, folks, we know that there's madness and war going on, but this stuff right here is the perfect distraction we need to put a smile on your face. So if you're having a bad morning, know this. At least you're not going to be raked through the coals like Cenk Uygur is.
put them.
So yeah, and I wanted to show you guys this so you can see it with your own eyes. And thank you for humoring me on that. And so this is from a law review article in University of Illinois, and it shows you definitively that Schneider v. Rusk has already decided this issue. So they had an issue that came up where naturalized citizens were being treated different than natural born citizens. So here's what the court wrote. This is the Supreme Court in that case. The statute proceeds on the impermissible assumption that naturalized citizens as a class are less reliable and bear less allegiance to this country than do the native born. This is an assumption that is impossible for us to make. Moreover, while the Fifth Amendment contains no equal protection clause, it does forbid discrimination that is so unjustifiable as to be violative of due process. A native born citizen is free to reside abroad indefinitely without suffering loss of citizenship. The discrimination aimed at naturalized citizens drastically limits their rights to live and work abroad in a way that other citizens may. It creates indeed a second-class citizenship. So the Supreme Court ruled it is unconstitutional to discriminate against naturalized citizens.
Yeah. But again, the constitutional requirements to run for president are, here, we'll start from the bottom. You have been a resident of the United States for 14 years. Now, Cenk does meet that. Be at least 35 years old. Okay, Cenk meets that. This is the most important one. Save the best for last. For the people in back, and even for Cenk Uygur, be a natural born citizen. Natural born. Natural born. That's the law. And everyone in the media, the two-party system, hell, third parties and independents are all going to tell you the same thing, Cenk. You can't run, baby. All right? Now, the Supreme Court reference you're bringing up has no connection to the constitutional requirements for a presidential candidate. It's been like that since the founding of the Republic. Or, anyways.
This issue is actually already settled. Just no one knows it. So I'm gonna try to get this albatross off of all of our necks. If you're one of those 25 million Americans, that alone is a reason to go to cenkforamerica.com and support what I'm doing, because I'm going to try my best to make us all 100% citizens. And I think the Supreme Court is clearly on our side. I'll read one last thing. Thank you for humoring me on this. The law review article of University of Illinois concluded, this should be the end of the story. Schneider is clear that treating natural born citizens and naturalized citizens differently is contrary to the Fifth Amendment. Forbidding naturalized citizens from being president or vice president is a form of discrimination that limits their options and treats them as second-class citizens. It is not permissible. It is unconstitutional.
So while I agree with that take, I certainly agree with that take.
Oh God, I'm willing to bet Anna was practicing this in front of a mirror the whole time, and then either breaking down laughing or possibly crying in getting ready to do this interview. Like, my God, like what I get myself into. Probably had to, I don't know, take a few shots of whiskey just to get her through this.
The Constitution also says the following. Okay, so this is Article 2.
She's trying to talk to a madman like, hey, listen, man, you are not the voice of God. You got to come off that ledge, buddy. Force the joke. I saw that in the live stream chat. That's brilliant. I don't know who came. Oh, let's see. Hold on. It was, I want to get it correct. Primey 54, force the vote. Force the joke. Hashtag force the joke. Cenk, oh, stop while you're ahead. I could see Jimmy just shaking his head silently like this. Oh, God. And I kind of feel a little bit sorry for Anna, but then I realize again, I don't.
Section 1, Clause 5 of the United States Constitution. No person except a natural born citizen or a citizen of the United States at the time of the adoption of this Constitution shall be eligible to the office of president. Neither shall any person be eligible to that office who shall not have attained to the age of 35 years and been 14 years a resident within the United States.
So Anna, it's a great question, especially because for folks who are not familiar with constitutional law, but although all of you will get it instantly, the amendments obviously amend the original Constitution.
Right.
And what I just read to you in Schneider is the Supreme Court said very clearly that the Fifth Amendment amended the Constitution to make naturalized citizens have the same exact rights because of due process. And later, Fifth Amendment jurisprudence in America also includes the Equal Protection Clause of the 14th Amendment. So if you want to undo that, you'd have to wipe away a giant chunk of American jurisprudence, which they would have to go wildly against precedent to do. And so that part has simply been amended out of the Constitution.
This is a man who has clearly lost touch with reality. And don't be surprised if he starts attaching his book, Justice is Coming, to his campaign trail. Like, watch, there'll be a link on his website. Sooner or later, it's going to show up saying, hey, buy my book as well. This man is not coming. This is the beginning throes of a meltdown. What is he doing? Why are you doing this? You're embarrassing your name, your network, anyone that's ever been associated with you. This is funny and a little bit sad to watch.
It is absolutely clear as Schneider. And by the way, if you're saying, yeah, but Cenk, are you going to have the resources to be able to do this, to take this case to the Supreme Court?
Yeah, it's a good question.
Yeah.
Are you lawyering up? Like, what's your?
Oh, by the way, brace yourself for this. Get ready for his team
plan, because this will be challenged if you are seen as enough of a threat to the Democratic Party.
No question. So I have.
Anna said that. Do you see it as a threat to the Democratic Party? Hold on, we're rewinding that. But get ready for his legal team.
Court.
Yeah, it's a good question.
Yeah.
Are you lawyering up? Like, what's your plan? Because this will be challenged if you are seen as enough of a threat to the Democratic Party.
No question. So I have lawyered up. I have the same lawyer Bernie Sanders used.
Oh boy, the same lawyer Bernie Sanders used. You know, the guy, Bernie, the cuck Sanders, who gave up everything. Who gave up everything in the 2016 and 2020 primary, even though there was election fraud that took place. Bernie Sanders lawyer. Well done. Hey, wait, Cenk. Remember when you were running for Congress and you got Bernie Sanders' nomination, then the Democratic Party started smearing and slandering you, and you had to tell Bernie to give back his endorsement? Dude, if the Democratic Party is going to twist your arm that hard for a congressional run, I only can imagine what they're going to do to you in the presidential run if you go through with this. There's still time to stop, but the world needs laughter with all this murder and chaos that's going on. So thanks, Cenk. Hey, everyone, seriously, give a thumbs up to Cenk, because this should, if you're having a bad morning, at least you're not this guy.
That's a good question.
Yeah.
Are you lawyering up? Like, what's your plan? Because this will be challenged if you are seen as enough of a threat to the Democratic Party.
No question. So I have lawyered up. I have the same lawyer Bernie Sanders used in both of his presidential runs. And my guess is I'm going to have some strong allies in this. Arnold Schwarzenegger. I'm going to the.
He's calling out Arnold Schwarzenegger. Who is this fat puny man, Cenk? He doesn't hit the gym. I am Schwarzenegger. That's a terrible Schwarzenegger impression. But come on, seriously? No, he's what? You're name dropping people. Next thing you know, Jake's going to be name dropping Andrew Tate or freaking Tucker Carlson or who else? Who would he name drop? Probably, I don't know, King of England. Why not? Why not? The Pope of Rome. He's gonna name drop Kanye. Kanye, I need your help. Cenk Uygur, 2024. Mike Tyson, Mr. T. Yes. Emma Woo Dog, I see ya. Oprah. Hey, audience, everyone that's watching this video right now, there will be no wrong answer. But type in the comment section below, who else you think Cenk Uygur will name drop? Because he name dropped Arnold Schwarzenegger.
As enough of a threat to the Democratic Party.
No question. So I have lawyered up. I have the same lawyer Bernie Sanders used in both of his presidential runs. And my guess is I'm going to have some strong allies in this.
Oh, God.
Arnold Schwarzenegger, I'm going to the Supreme Court. Either I'm going to win or I'm going to lose. Now, the case is on our side. Precedent is definitely on our side. So what are you going to do, brother? Are you going to sit on the sidelines? Or, by the way, not just Schwarzenegger, 25 million Americans. Aren't you guys sick of this? Here, I'll give you one last example. Rahm Emanuel, born in America, but went and served in the Israeli Defense Forces. No problem, I got no beef with that, okay? But he can run for president. He served in a foreign army, but can run for president. Patrick Bet-David, right winger, okay? Was on his show. He's a Christian Armenian from Iran. His family fled from the Iranian Revolution. He was in the 101st Airborne. He served in our army. So Patrick Bet-David can't run for president, even though he served in our army. And what is this? Does he owe allegiance to Iran that he ran from? But Rahm Emanuel, who served in a foreign army, can run for president. It makes no sense.
No.
25 million Americans, cenkforamerica.com. We're gonna win this case in the Supreme Court.
God.
We're gonna win it, and that alone is gonna make a giant difference. I'm sick of this discrimination.
Oh, God. Oh, God. That is so stupid. What a terrible argument. Again, here, constitutional requirements. This time from the top down. Be a natural born citizen of the United States. Now, look, Rahm Emanuel, I don't like him. Not a big fan of the guy, but born in the US of A. Now, again, he served in the Israeli army. There are special laws between the United States and Israel, okay? Israel's prime minister is from Philly. But the laws of that country and the laws of our country, two different things altogether. What does the law of the land of the US Constitution say? This isn't discrimination. This is just how it's always been. Be a natural born citizen of the United States. Be a natural born citizen of the United States. Third time for the people in back. Be a natural born citizen of the United States. It's how it's been. Then he name drops Patrick. Okay. Now, Patrick and his family fled Iran, right? And Patrick served in 101st Airborne. Good for him. But even Patrick knows the laws of the land. Be at least 35 years old and have been a resident of the United States for 14 years. But the first one is the law right there. And Cenk, finally, buddy, nobody knows who you are. You failed terribly in your own backyard. I want to give a huge shout out to Natori Lee, who retweeted this tweet from Sabby. Again, first I want to read out what Natori said. Nothing but a money grab for the young turds. And it is. It looks like a scam. If you gave money to this, here's a correct one. Cenk Uygur is officially running for president in 2024. Here it is. He is running. It's all legit. And it's pretty sad. It's pretty sad in my book. We are witnessing somebody have a meltdown. We are witnessing somebody who is trying to make himself relevant after so many years of, well, being on the wrong side. So many years carrying water for the Democratic Party. So many years giving excuse after excuse on why Democrats have stabbed progressives and independents in the back. And now Cenk is going to be running in that primary. Even RFK Jr. had the hindsight to realize, okay, time to leave. If RFK Jr. can see that, Cenk, what's it going to take for you to realize that you are not going to make an impact in the Democratic primary in 2024? I mean, if you do, make it all the way to the convention, I'm very curious to see what kind of plan you're going to do. Why are you doing this? And so many red flags are being shown to me right now. It's either you're having a mental breakdown, your network is failing, you need the views terribly, and your book isn't doing as fantastic as you like to boast it to be. But I can say this with absolute confidence. Truly, I can. I do know one thing. And I've been updated about this right now, and I want to give a huge shout out to this person who just informed me of another thing that Cenk Uygur will be talking about on his campaign trail. No, it's not going to be student debt forgiveness. No, it's not going to be Medicare for all. It's not going to be about ending the wars or doing anything about the border. It's going to be the most important thing that is in Cenk Uygur's mind. And I have to give a huge shout out to this person, Matt Orfala, because Cenk will be bringing up this name a lot on the campaign trail. You know him. You love him. Jimmy Dore. I could see it during a debate if he has against Biden. Jimmy.
I wouldn't have Jimmy Dore on this show. Jimmy Dore, I think Jimmy is Jimmy.
I wasn't asking about Jimmy. What do you mean when you characterize me and Jimmy as having a quote unquote
Because
alliance?
in the days where he was doing forced to vote and all that nonsense.
Cenk Uygur's own audience overwhelmingly supports this idea.
And I support forced to vote, as did Cornel West and Chris Hedges and Crystal Ball and Kyle Kalinske, members of DSA, and a whole lot of people on the left. And Jimmy Dore. But I would like if we keep this conversation focused on us and whatever your concerns were about me.
Look, Brianna, so when Jimmy did a video of Jimmy all the time, and I attacking Jimmy.
Well, Cenk, you should really talk to Jimmy. I am not a ventriloquist dummy for Jimmy Dore, and I really wish you would respect me enough to engage with me as the human being that's sitting in front of you, and not.
Jimmy says in his speech, let's go to, hold on.
Jimmy?
No, I have to give you the
I'm not Jimmy
distinction.
Dore.
This is his audience, not mine.
And they see something in Jimmy.
And almost 9 out of 10 of them see right through his bullshit.
And if Jimmy is attracting a certain kind of audience and pulling certain people to the left who resonates with them.
Anyway, I can't bear to talk about Jimmy. I hate to say it. I love Jimmy Dore.
Jimmy Dore for press secretary, man. That would be epic. I think it would be great. Jimmy's name would be brought up a lot on the campaign trail for Cenk.
And I always have, so make sure you go to jimmydoorecomedy.com.
Okay, folks. I think we had a good laugh. You know what I'll do? I'll consider maybe reaching out to Cenk and having him on the show for him to explain his maddening reason about why he would run for president in the Democratic primary. I mean, I think it would be an interesting interview. It would be. I think it would be eye-opening. I have to see this firsthand. This is none of this adds up. But in a time and era where we need laughter the most, Cenk Uygur stepped up to the plate. So on behalf of the people of the world, Cenk, there's madness and terror all around. The future of humanity hangs in the balance where there's uncertainty, where the nukes could be flying. But at least at the 9th hour, you rode up on your horse, no pun intended, and gave the world a smile. And for that, I and everybody else thanks you for it.